Okay, class, today we're going to start our lesson at the floor. So I'm going to have everybody come to the floor, sit in their assigned spots on the floor. Show me your thumbs when you are ready to listen. Reminder, when I say show me thumbs, thumbs up means that you are ready to go. Sideways means you need a little bit more time. And thumbs down means you're not really getting the topic and you need some more support. Perfect. I see a lot of friends with their thumbs up. I see a lot of friends questioning what this is. Can somebody tell me with a quiet hand, raise your hand, what you think this might be? Yes, we are making a catapult. This is a item that we can use to launch different items, but I will say this because catapults can sometimes be dangerous if we're not making the best choices with them. When we make a catapult, we never catapult the items at people directly. We can launch them at walls. We can launch them at open spaces. But this is the warning that if you launch a catapult at another friend or classmate, you will just lose the privilege of playing with your catapult during the playtime. So first, before we even get into making the catapult, we gotta kind of talk about how a catapult works and why and how it works and why we need to use a catapult. So, can anybody tell me from last time what we talked about when it came to force and motion? Yeah, we talked about the difference between push, pull, motion, and gravity, and we touched a little bit on friction, but friction doesn't really help with our lesson today, so we'll just go over that slightly. But when we use our forces, we have push, pull, gravity, motion, friction. Push, a unbalanced force that moves objects forward. So can everybody show me right now what it would look like to push something? Do not push anyone near you. Just show the motion without touching someone else. Good job. You guys should all be doing this. Push, push, push. When we push something, we push it forward and away from us. So then what do we do when we pull? We pull an object towards us or we pull it backwards. If I have my lovely assistant, Mr. Bunny here, I push Mr. Bunny away, I pull him towards me. Next we have gravity, a force that pulls objects towards the earth. This means that unless I am in space, which we are not sadly in space at the moment, if I hold an object here, my example being Mr. Bunny again, if I hold this item here and I let go of Mr. Bunny, this object is going to go where? Correct, it's going to go down. It's never going to go up unless I throw it first, and then it's at the end after you throw it and it has that boost, it's still going to go down because that is how gravity works. Objects that start up always fall towards the ground unless you throw it up first, but it's always going to end up on the ground or back in your hands if you catch it. And then motion. Motion is a change in position over time. So I'm going to get Mr. Bunny back, and he started by sitting on my stool. Then his motion changed when I picked him up, and his motion changed when he hit the ground. But when he hit the ground originally, I'll even show it here. Not all of him, he didn't land and just stop. His ears were moving, his feet moved a little bit, his arms moved a little bit. So he was an object that was in motion, and he stopped when he hit something hard. But if I were to continue to drop him, he is still in motion until he hits the ground. So let's apply that thought to our catapults. When we catapult something and we push down the spoon and we shoot it, I want you guys to think, during our lesson and why we're making our catapult and why we're doing the activity, I want you to think how push goes into this lesson, what kind of force we use on our catapult would go into our lesson, and then gravity and motion. How are those two items influencing our catapult? If we didn't have gravity, would our item even launch? What would happen to our item? Would it stay stagnant? Would it stay where it is? Would it fling that way instead of flinging that way? So right now, using a voice level 0, you guys are going to stand up and you guys are going to walk to your tables where you are going to sit down and wait for the next instruction. Okay, you guys should be sitting at your tables, ready to learn. So, at your tables, we're going to do a quick inventory. Inventory means that we're going to double check to make sure you have what I have. So we need to do this with a voice level 0, and you will show me your thumbs whether you have the item, are missing some pieces, don't have it at all. You should start with 2, 4, 6, 8 popsicle sticks. 8 popsicle sticks. Lay those flat on your table if you have all 8 in a pile. I will wait for you guys to show me your thumbs. Okay, next we're going to make sure that we have rubber bands. Mine are in these little container. The number of rubber bands right now does not matter for us as long as you have a decent amount, more than 5. We'll say that. Show me your thumbs when you are ready and have those items placed on your counter. Okay. Lastly, you need 1 plastic spoon. Show me your thumbs. Perfect. Before we start doing the creation of our catapult, I want you guys to first talk within your groups at your table and think about what might be a problem with using popsicle sticks to make a catapult. Remember, this is our catapult. This is what it looks like. This is all we have. We haven't seen it launch yet, but what do you think might be a problem with using popsicle sticks to make our catapult? Yeah, it might be too flimsy. It might be too hard. That's why we're going to test it and see what is going to work out. And then lastly, we're going to talk about what do you think people used catapults for? Okay, I heard a lot of people saying launching different items, making sure to get items across a wall if there was a wall in the way, or getting items from one place to another. Good job. So when we do this catapult, I will be walking you guys through the steps. You work with us, but ensure that we have multiple people in our groups. We have 2 people in our groups, or we have 3 people in our groups. We need to ensure that everybody is working along with this lesson and that we're letting other people join us to ensure that everybody can have a fun time when building our catapult. So between steps, make sure you're passing your item to a new person to ensure that everybody is equally building our catapult together. So to start off, I want you guys to take your popsicle sticks. You're going to take all of them in your hand, and you're going to take 2 and put them to the side. Show me your thumbs when you're ready to move on. Perfect. You are now going to take all of these popsicle sticks that are in your hand, and you are going to stack them on top of each other evenly. So can somebody look up and tell me, did I stack my popsicle sticks evenly? No, I did not. What do I need to do to fix how my popsicles look so that they are stacked evenly on top of each other? I need to push these down to make sure that they are flat. I am noticing that one of my popsicle sticks is a little bit curved. Oops, sorry. It's a little bit curved, and that is a-okay because we are going to be putting some rubber bands on it. So if you have a curved popsicle stick, just put it at the end and have the curl popping up. Now we're going to hold all of our popsicle sticks in one hand tightly, making sure it's nice and even. We're going to grab a rubber band in our other, and we're going to wrap it around the end of the popsicle sticks. It should look like that. I'm going to use 2, mostly because I know that the rubber bands that I picked to use today, they aren't the strongest, but we want to be able to do some good distance and make sure that these don't pop as we are building it. A reminder of how to do a rubber band. You can do this a few different ways, whichever way works best for you. But I have found the easiest way is to take the rubber band, put it on your thumb and first finger, put the middle in between the chunks of rubber bands, have it there, twist around, twist around, twist around. Show me your thumbs when you have both sides done. You're going to repeat this on this side, making sure they're even. Show me your thumbs when you are done. At this time, I would be walking around watching the students work, taking note of the students that are participating, the ones that are actively listening during my instruction, and the ones that are doing the steps at the time, so that when I walk past the groups in the next step, I can ensure that that task has been passed off to a different student to ensure that all the students are working together to create their catapult. Okay, I see a lot of thumbs saying that everybody is done with what they're doing now. So now, pass this item to a new member. You're this new member who has this in one hand, sit it down, and you're going to grab the other 2 popsicle sticks. Show me those 2 popsicle sticks high in the sky. Okay, taking these 2 popsicle sticks, this is going to be a little bit of a challenge, but I know we can do it. Holding them evenly on top of each other, we're doing that again. You're going to squeeze one end super tight, and then you're going to take the other hand, you're going to wrap it around to ensure that none of the popsicle sticks are moving. On the side that you can see, we're going to wrap 2 or 3 rubber bands around it, just like we did in the last one. These are going to wrap a whole bunch more times because of the size of the item we're wrapping around. Show me your thumbs after you have completed the step. Perfect. Everybody should be done with the step now. I see all of our thumbs saying that we are. So right now we have a rubber band on one side, and this other side is kind of like a mouth. It can open up and talk. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up our popsicle stick. So it's kind of like a mouth. We're going to eat our big popsicle stick. So it looks like that. Now this is going to be a hard part. If you can't get this, I completely understand. It's even a little bit of a struggle for me as a teacher to get it, but you can ask other people in your groups to help you out. If you still cannot get it, then I can come around and help you. What you are going to do is you are going to push your big piece of popsicle sticks. So we're going to call this chunk A. You're going to push chunk A in between the 2 sides of chunk B, which is what we just made. And you are then going to squeeze the ends like that. And you're going to wrap rubber bands around it. This is going to need probably about 3 or 4 rubber bands just to ensure that it is fully secure, to ensure that it doesn't pop while we are testing our catapult. And again, if you need help, try asking someone at your table first. If you guys are still in need of help, put your thumbs down to show me that you need help with the lesson or this part of the step of the lesson. Okay. Show me your thumbs when you are ready to move on. Okay, I see a lot of thumbs saying that we are ready to move on, so let's move on. I have readjusted my part A and my part B to ensure that it is as even as possible. So looking at it like this, it is part B is pretty even in between my two pieces of part A. Still pretty even. And then looking at it this way, it needs to be pushed over just a little bit. Do small movements, because if you pull really hard, your sides might slip off and you might have to restart that last step that we just did. So after you have created that, now pass it to a new person in your group. Okay. And this next person is going to grab the spoon, leaving our catapult on the table how it is. You're going to find part A is going to face parallel with you, so it is going to be flat across from you, and the part that is long in front of you is the piece with only one popsicle stick on it. You're then going to take your spoon, attach it to the end, and you're going to put a rubber band on the end of the spoon, connecting it here. Okay, after you have finished that step, you are now going to come sit at the front of the room with your catapult in hand. One person is going to grab the catapult, come and sit. The other person, or the other two people in your group, are going to come up to my desk, and you're going to pick one. How many? One of our small launching trinkets. I have different objects that you can choose from, but you're only going to pick how many? One. For my example, I am going to use this little avocado with a mustache, because why not? We are going to sit at the wall. You are going to place your avocado or your trinket in the catapult. This is going to be flat on the floor. One person is going to hold the sides. One person is going to hold the front here. That same person is going to be the person launching. I will let you know when to launch by clapping my hands 3 times. Then you can launch. Please do not launch earlier because we don't want to accidentally hit someone. So get ready. Hold the spoon, hold the bottom of the spoon, put your finger on the top of the spoon, pull down as far as you can, and launch it. We are now going to measure the longest item that got launched. This item was launched 10 inches. And we're going to do this 5 times, rotating people launching items through the launches. And on top of that, we're going to measure the longest one, and then we're going to divide it by 5 to see what our median is. So our next launch. Okay, so we measured the longest. Sorry, let me pull you down. We measured the 5 longest launches. We divided that by 5 to get our average. So our average length of our launches are 17 inches, give and take 17.1 or 17.8 inches. Now, we are going to go back to our tables. We're going to take a piece of paper and we're going to reflect on the strengths of our catapults and some areas of improvements that we need in our catapult. As we go back to our desk, I want you guys to think. We already thought about what using popsicle sticks, the problem with that was. I heard a lot of people discussing that they thought that the popsicle sticks might not be strong enough. Did your opinion change after we made the catapult? Do you feel like your popsicle stick is strong enough to hold your item? Next, let's think about what we talked about in the forces. So we pushed down, so we pulled this towards us. Yeah, we pushed this, well, this one would be back, pull actually, I'm sorry. We had pulled this back and we're launching it. When we launch it, that item is in motion. That item is going to stay in motion until it, say, hits the ground, but it would be completely different if somebody launched and there was a book bag sitting in front of the catapult, that object is obviously not going to go as far because it's going to launch and then it's going to hit the book bag, and that is where it's going to land. So an object in motion is going to stay in motion until it hits something like the ground or has an equal force applied to it. So at your tables, you are going to think about some strengths of your catapults. You're going to think about areas of improvements for your catapults. And then we're going to think about what we used today. If we used a lot of push, pull, gravity, motion, and friction throughout our lessons. After you have done that, show me your thumbs and we are going to discuss it. Okay, I see a lot of thumbs, so let's discuss. I agree, we did use a lot of pulling and motion in our lesson. We also used gravity because those items that we launched into the air, they went into the air and then they got pulled down to earth, and that's why they landed on the ground. I want you guys to think about whether we were launching on top of a table or like at the top of a hill. Do you think that your item would go further or would go longer or shorter than you shot it off just the ground? I agree. I feel like our items would go way farther by shooting on a hill because of that motion and that gravity. It has farther to go before it hits the earth. I also want you to think, if we took our thing and we barely pull it down at all, we just went like this, do you think it's going to throw as far as when we pull it all the way back and then we shoot it? No, I agree. I don't think our items would go really far because even just using this as an example, and you can't really see it, but let me pull you down a little bit. Just doing this versus doing that, we can tell that our item went further because of the more pressure that we put onto our spoon, pulled it farther. After you have filled out your reflections, please make sure everybody's name is written on it in the group and come hand it to me, and then we're going to line up so you guys can go to your next special. Thank you.